Hi guys and welcome back to my channel. This is a Grandmaster Atusa and today I want to show you a game that actually decided the champion of Singfield Cup Grand Chess Tour 2025 in St. Louis, which happened just yesterday. And this game is a tiebreak between Fabiano Caruana and Wesley. And as you know, these are the best players in the US, and they tied for the first place, so they are playing in a tiebreak. And if Black can draw the game, it means that Black wins the title, and if White wins, it's Fabi who wins the tournament. Okay, so let's dive into the game. White started with Knight f3. As you can see, Fabi is playing as white. Wesley is playing as black. Black played d5, c4, e6, g3. So we have Catalan here. Knight f6, bishop g2, bishop e7, castle, castle. And here Fabi played d3. Okay, a more, I would say, common move here is to play d4, and this is a main line in Catalan that Black can take the pawn, and Black has other moves as well. But Fabi played d3, which actually he had some experience in this line. And as you can see here, the players are also playing with 5 minutes on the clock. And so they don't have that much time to think. Okay, so Wesley played c5, and Fabi's time is even more than 5 minutes, so he played it very fast. Knight e5. All of these moves are theory. Queen c7 is the best move in this position, with the idea to attack the knight. White played f4. Notice that if White wants to play something like bishop f4 to set up basically discovered attack, here Black can play g5, and White is losing. So White needs to protect the knight with the pawn. And then rook d8 was played in the game. And again, as a general rule, you want to put the rook in front of the queen. So this is a good developing move, I would say. Knight c3, a6. To avoid this move, knight b5, queen e1. White is trying to get out of this file and try to get the queen to the king side. Black played b5, which which computer doesn't like, and you can see the question mark. But when I analyze this game with a stronger engine, b5 is playable, and it was actually played before this move b5, so it's okay to sacrifice the pawn, even though it looks like White can simply win a pawn, but Black has enough compensation after queen b6. And I think Wesley was in his home preparation still. So here Fabi played g4 to open up the diagonal for the queen, trying to attack the knight on f6. Black played b4, attacking the knight, and knight a4. So bishop b7 here. White took the pawn on d5. Okay, a better move according to the computer is either to play queen f2 or push the pawn to g5. So c takes d5 was played. Bishop takes d5. Bishop takes d5. Okay, here probably White doesn't need to exchange the bishops immediately. He can play queen f2 because after bishop takes d5, Black can change his pawn structure and take with the pawn. And now these pawns are controlling the center, and this is a half open file against this pawn on e2, which can be a weakness, like potential weakness later on. So white played g5 here, and then black played knight d7. White played knight g4, knight c6, bishop e3. White is trying to develop the pieces and attack the pawn c5. So black played bishop d6. Bishop d6, actually computer doesn't like. A better move that white could play here was to push the pawn to c4, trying to, improve the pawn structure. So bishop d6 was played, and then white played rook c1, black played rook e8, and then white played queen f2, which is a good move here. And the point here is that if the bishop moves back, black can double up the rooks against this pawn on e2. So Fabi played the best move, queen f2, and as you can see, they have like 2 minutes and 49 seconds against 3 minutes and 16 seconds, so they don't have that much time. Black played d4, bishop d2, knight e7, and here white played e4. Okay, computer doesn't like e4 that much, but I think e4 is a human move that wants to like exchange pieces and put pressure on c5. Otherwise, the pawn on e2 is a backwards pawn, and this knight is moving to f5 and d5. So I think that's a human move, but I don't know if Fabi missed this tactical move or he thought that there is a counter attack for black. But the better move that white could play here is to play bishop takes b4, and the plan is that if black takes, white can take on c7 and win the queen. So basically the pawn c5 is pinned. Okay, but Fabi played e4 here. Wesley took the pawn, which was the best move in this position, and you don't want to give white these two strong pawns. So d takes e3, knight takes e3, and here black played knight c6, knight f5, bishop f8, bishop e3, rook d8, and b3. Okay, the knight on a4 maybe is not on the right square because the knight is on the edge of the board, but at the same time the knight is putting pressure on c5. So this is a very complicated position, I would say, especially if you're playing, with just 1 minute on the clock and you're playing for a title, I mean, to become a champion of this tournament. So it is really tough and stressful at the same time. So black played queen a5 here, knight g3. The idea behind this move, queen a5, is that black wants to play c4. It's a kind of, tricky move, and black wants to go for a discovered attack. So white played here knight g3, queen b5, attacking the pawn, rook d1 to protect the pawn. Black played knight b6. Knight b6 was not a good move because it basically loses the pawn c5. So a better move here for black was just to play knight d4 here, because after these exchanges, black can play knight e5, and this is a very nice attack for black. And notice that the white king is also exposed, so there are a lot of threats on the king. So yeah, but Wesley played knight b6, knight takes queen takes, bishop takes c5. So white just won a free pawn in this position. Black played queen b7, bishop takes f8, rook takes f8, and rook c4. Okay, white is up a pawn, but his king is still exposed, and the pawn d3 is an isolated pawn, but of course it's a passed pawn as well. So we should see if white could convert his advantage or not. So black played knight e7, which is a very good move. The knight might jump into the center, and we are also covering this square. So white played f5, black played knight d5. White's idea here after f5 is to play f6 because white wants to destroy black's pawn structure on the king side. So black played here because now if we push the pawn, black can basically close the position if he wants to. In the game after knight d5, white played knight e4, knight c3. So I mean, Wesley is trying to exchange more pieces and go to an end game so he can draw. But also it is tricky because these players are very strong, but they don't have that much time. So anything can happen, right? In time trouble. So knight takes c3, pawn takes, rook takes. And here white is up 2 pawns. But for example, if these 2 pawns were on f3 and g2, probably white had an easy win. But the pawns are really advanced and it makes the king more vulnerable. So that's why Wesley played rook d5. And you can see that even though white is +2, I mean, white has 2 extra pawns, but the engine says it's about equal. So it shows that how important is king safety, basically. So white played d4 here, queen d7, attacking the pawn on f5, and white played rook f3, black played rook d8, black is putting pressure here, so 3 pieces attacking the pawn, 2 pieces are protecting, white protected again with rook f4, a5, h4, a4. So black is trying to exchange as many pieces as he can so he can go for a basically draw. So rook e1 here. Notice that we cannot take the pawn because if we take the pawn, black can get back rank mated. So this rook on d8 is kind of overloaded if we take the pawn on d4. So after rook e1, black took on b3, a takes b3, and king f8. Okay, king f8 was not a good move, but look at the timing, guys. Black has 7 seconds, white has 22 seconds, so it is really tough. A better move here was to play either g6 or rook b5, but after king f8, white could push the pawn to f6. And here, after f6, white is trying to open up the position. Let's say if black plays g6, then white can move the rook to the 7th rank, and this can be scary for black. But Fabi didn't find the right move. He had just 20 seconds. He played rook e4 to protect the pawn, and then Wesley played rook a8. Again, he missed this idea f6, but I mean, it makes sense to activate the rook. Fabi played rook f3, rook d8, rook f4. He repeated the moves. Of course, white doesn't want to draw. White is up 2 pawns, and if he draws, Wesley will get the title. So he played king g2 instead. Black played queen b7. Putting the queen on this diagonal, it's a little bit tricky because now if we move the rook on e4 is pinned. So white played queen e3, and again we had a very nice pawn break g6, because the point is if he takes, we can take and attack the king, or a better move even here is queen f3. I mean, computer shows crazy moves. I would say it's a computerish move, but kind of impossible to find such moves, you know, when you have just a few seconds. So anyway, after queen b7, Bobby played queen e3, Wesley played rook b5, rook f3, and rook takes b3, which was a very nice move by Wesley. The point is, if the queen takes, which happened in the game, black can take the rook on e4. So basically, the queen here was overloaded, and Wesley spotted it in a very short amount of time. He's got just 7 seconds. He took the pawn. Queen took on e4. And now, okay, I mean, there are a lot of ways for black to go for perpetual check. So white checked here, and then, as you can see, the position is equal. Okay, here black took here, but as you can see, king h8, you know, it's very dangerous for white, but black didn't want to basically win the game. Draw was enough for him, so he wanted to exchange pieces. Queen a5, h6, king g2, king h8, here rook g8 check, king h3. They have just few seconds. Rook f5, okay, it was a mistake. I mean, but after king h2, it's a perpetual anyway, so rook f5, apparently after rook g6, black is just winning. But again, black wanted to make a draw to win the tournament. And after these moves, they agreed on a draw. I mean, it's threefold repetition, and white cannot make any progress here. So with this game, Wesley So became the champion of Grand Chess Tour, I mean Sinquefield Cup 2025. And I believe this was his second win after 2016, so it's been a while. 9 years ago, he won this tournament, and congratulations to him. He played a fantastic tournament. I mean, Fabi was in top for a lot of rounds, but Wesley showed that he can also become a champion, and he's a very serious chess player. He is one of the best in the world. So I hope you guys enjoyed this video. If you have any suggestions for my next video, please do let me know in comment section, and subscribe to my channel if you haven't yet, so you won't miss any of my videos later on. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next video. Take care.